Hey, I'm Melissa Joan Hart, and I'm gonna throw it back with TV Guide magazine. Who's that? So this was, I think I remember this photo shoot. I actually, funny enough, have this blown up very big on my wall at home. It covers my fuse box in my house. So I am familiar with this picture. I think I liked it because I had the smoky eyes. And back then I didn't get to wear a whole lot of makeup like this, so it was fun to be. This photo shoot, I remember being like really glam. I'm pretty sure it was in New York City because I remember there's a photo of me, I think with a skeleton on a staircase, yeah. And I think we're on like a fire escape, and I'm pretty sure it was in New York because I was still pretty much living in New York, I think, at the time. But just doing a round of press, and I think I was very like, I got to be very glammed up, and we did like all different looks, and it was really fun for me to do this shoot. Lifestyles of the Witch and Famous, and I got to wear like heavy eye makeup, dark lips, and this is one of the few times I actually went witchy. We went dark with like a look for me.
Do you remember where in the city that was?
I have no idea. I'm just guessing this was in the city because of that staircase, because of the fire escape, because I don't know about the rest of the photo shoot. I think we did a lot of photos for this though, and I think there was a secondary cover where I'm in blue, but I don't know if that photo shoot was the same day or if that was a few years later.
Whose idea was the skeleton? Do you remember?
Definitely not mine. I mean, none of this was planned by me for sure. This was just, hey, put on this yellow fluffy thing and hold a pumpkin, and put on this black corset dress and stand next to that skeleton. That definitely was not something I would have come up with. I was very much like, what do we do? Where do you want me?
It seemed very high up, like that they're...
Oh, we're very, yeah, I think we're really high up. We must be like at least 10th floor above.
That's amazing.
I don't remember it at all. It's so funny. I probably am barefoot because I didn't want to be on the like the slats with heels on. My really good friends are from the show. We all have dinner parties or we sit around watching laser discs. Such a time date. At this age, a lot of people are at college, hanging out in dorms, going out, getting drunk all the time. We're sitting around and having a bottle of wine. I flew in from Napa Valley playing chess. That sounds very fancy, much fancier than I actually was. We probably did that once. We probably had a bottle of wine from Napa and played chess once. But yeah, I know that like what I was talking about here is that my best friends, that are still my best friends, were the makeup and hair and wardrobe people from the show, as well as the crew, the camera guys, the sound guys. We were a really tight crew and we had a lot of fun. And we traveled like all over we did the movies in Rome and Australia. We did episodes at Disney World, Florida. We did rap parties in Vegas. So we stuck together as a crew. We were pretty tight, and we were lucky enough to be on a big hit show that could fund it. So we got to travel the world together and have a lot of fun. But yeah, laser discs, that's so funny. I bought my first house because of Sabrina, and I won a Sony package on Jeopardy. So I got a laser disc player from Sony, and there was a laser disc store around the corner, and so every once in a while, those were expensive. I would treat myself by going in there and buying something, but it had to be like a movie I knew I was gonna watch over and over again. And anytime a Disney hit came out, because I was like, if I have kids eventually, I need to have them before they go in the vault. So I started like stocking up on Disney movies on Laserdisc. And then eventually my husband, my current husband, my only husband, made me sell them. He's like, no one's ever gonna watch Laserdiscs again. And I had this whole collection of like movies like The Rock, which might be why my son is named Mason, Shawshank Redemption, and some of these were like two-parters. You had to flip them, or you had to, go in and change the disc. So I did love my laser discs. It's like, I love you, I hate you, get away from me. Sabrina does that in almost every episode. I hate being a witch, I love being a witch, this sucks. She's so up and down with all those hormones that are going on in her body, and she's just going crazy. I'm basing Sabrina on her 17-year-old sister Elizabeth. Oh my gosh, poor Lizzie. That's so funny. It's true. Like, I always felt like Sabrina was fighting against everything she was supposed to be, and she was, I didn't really identify with her in that way. I identified much more with my character Clarissa because I feel like we were growing up together. We were both tough. We're like, oh, you can't take me down. And Sabrina was very much like, leave me alone. Nobody look at me. I don't know what I'm doing. And that wasn't like me at all. And so I think that it was, that's so funny that I based it on Elizabeth. I didn't remember that at all, but that's kind of new old information for me. I have an ultimate goal. I would like to do features and be like Michelle Pfeiffer, but I've got to take the steps and do what I've got to do and enjoy myself on the way. Oh, interesting. Okay. I had no idea I said that. I mean, that's true. When back in the 90s and early 2000s, it was very much like you're a TV star, but you're not a movie star. you know, and people made that very clear back then, like, you're a TV star. Nowadays, it's all, because of streamers and whatnot, it's all like, I mean, you've got Meryl Streep on TV shows, right? So, you know, I feel like I talked my way out of a feature career because I didn't want to do horror films. I wouldn't do all the, I Know What You Did Last Summer. I actually auditioned for Scream, and when I didn't get a part in that, I was like, well, everything else is a ripoff. I don't want to be on any of those other movies. So I, like Urban Legend and some of these other movies that I was asked to be a part of, and I was like, nope, nope, nope. So I sort of talked my way out of a feature career, but became more of a producer-director. And I really prefer directing, I think, because I feel like I get to be the storyteller. So I'm pretty happy with the way things went, and I would like to look like Michelle Pfeiffer still, though. You know, at the time, Michelle Pfeiffer was still, I feel like, kind of coming into her own, right? But she's also like the epitome of class and grace, and someone who can work in the industry and then disappear for a little while and have her anonymity and then come back. And so I was really, and I think at this time she was Catwoman, so. Love to put on that suit. Hoping that I am kind of past that child star thing, that the whatever happened to type thing, because I do have another show. It didn't just end with Clarissa. Yeah, you know, you hear so much when you're a young actor about child stars, and you hear all the pitfalls and you're worried about all this stuff that happened to all these other child stars, whether their parents ripped them off, or they got into drugs and alcohol, or they just couldn't work again past a certain age, and, you know, they're now pumping gas at the gas station or something, you know. So there was all these, like, be careful, be careful, be careful sort of warnings. And so I was very aware of all that, and I felt like when I got Sabrina, I was lucky that lightning struck twice. Like, who does that happen to? It really doesn't. But I do feel like I've been able to have longevity, not only because Clarissa and Sabrina have this nostalgia factor, and Sabrina has this international factor that's really exciting and fun, that all across the world people know Sabrina. But then I got to go on to do Melissa and Joey. I had a third title character. I got to do a Netflix show called No Good Nick that I have to say, like, anytime I meet a 13-year-old, it's like, I love your work. I'm like, No Good Nick. Like, I know who the No Good Nick fans are because they're so young. So I get to, like, live on through generations and different projects, and some people are like, I saw you on The Masked Singer, or I loved you on Dancing with the Stars, or, hey, didn't you win $1 million on Wheel of Fortune? So, you know, I really get to, like, when I meet people, it's really fascinating to hear what they know me from, what they love me from, you know, and it's just all love that I get. So I'm really blessed with a wonderful fan base.
Are you gonna feel that?
At 21, Hart is freed of such adolescent angst. Although she's part of young Hollywood, Hart is not part of the ultra-hip club scene. She calls herself a homebody, save for the occasional trip to a lounge where we maybe smoke a cigar, drink a glass of wine, and watch someone play bongo.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, I will say that I loved going to premieres, and I loved dressing up on the red carpet, but I definitely didn't need to do it all the time. I loved going out to dancing at clubs. I was part of the club scene for a while there, where I just wanted to be out at night. I wanted to be around people my age, and I wanted to be dancing. It was never about the drugs and alcohol and glam and glitz and, you know, the photographs and all that. It was never about that for me. It was just about, where are the people at? And a lot of the time, because I was really close with my crew, we would shoot pool. We would go out and shoot pool. I actually bought a bar on Sunset Boulevard just so I could entertain people there. I threw a ton of parties there, birthday parties. Anytime I directed, I had the whole crew come out. And it was just, I love gathering people, and I love being an entertainer, you know, and, like, just, I feel like if I wasn't an actor, I'd definitely be party planner. So I love any kind of event. We threw huge parties on Sabrina. I threw a huge masquerade ball for New Year's 2001. That took me 1.5 years to plan. It cost more than my wedding. You know, I did these epic parties, from Gilligan's Island parties to, oh my gosh, Barbie progressive parties where we'd move from house to house. Like, we just planned these epic parties all the time. And I had so much fun with that. It wasn't about the Hollywood stuff. Although, don't get me wrong, I would party my butt off and dance all night at a club in Hollywood as well. But I could have fun. I could have fun at, you know, anything. I can have fun with, you know, my sister at a sleepover, you know, so I just love being around people, and I love a good theme, you know, that kind of thing.
Salem the cat is supposed to somersault in the air from a child's twitter-totter onto the floor, but the crew of ABC's Sabrina the Teenage Witch is having no luck. No, it's not that one of the 4 real cats that plays Salem is being uncooperative. It's a stuffed stunt double that seems to be out of control. Take after take, the fake feline goes into a tailspin as the invisible guide, wires attached to it, snap under its weight. A moment of silence for my career, the show's exasperated director, Brian Roberts.
Brian Roberts. The cat caused so many problems, whether it was live or not. The only one that probably worked the most consistently was the animatronic, although that would break down here and there too, have a little spasm. And it took 3 people to run the animatronic. But yeah, we called it Stuffy. So the stand-in cat was Stuffy. We had a sitting up and a lying down cat. And Stuffy was there for rehearsals, but Stuffy was also there when the live cat or an animatronic, expensive robot cat couldn't do it. We would drag it behind things, throw it up from behind the couch. So I guess in this case it was a seesaw, and I'm sure it was on a piece of fishing line. They were trying to get it to do some kind of flip. But funny enough, I've never really watched the show back because on Friday nights I was busy, and we didn't have things like TiVo or streamers where we could watch things after they aired. So unless I was gonna go throw in a DVD, or actually back then it was a VHS, I wasn't really watching the show because I was working it 6 days a week. I didn't want to watch it on my day off, So I don't even know what episode that's about, but we did torture Stuffy. I wish I'd kept Stuffy. I don't know where Stuffy is, but I think one of the animatronics is in a puppetry museum in Atlanta, last I heard.
In the story, you talked about maybe playing Rizzo in a Broadway, revival or production of Grease. What happened?
Oh gosh, I don't know about that one, but there's been a few times that I auditioned for I cannot sing. First of all, I got teased endlessly in middle school for not getting the part of Annie, and they're like, "Aren't you an actress? How come you didn't get Annie?" Because I can't sing. But there were times when I was called to audition for things, and I always take a challenge. So when I was called to audition for Chicago or Belle in Beauty and the Beast, they were like, "Will you come audition for this?" I was like, "I shouldn't, but yes, I will." And they'd be like, "Never mind." So I think I'm just not meant for musical theater.
Do you have a favorite episode, Sabrina?
I have to say the one episode that has stuck with me over the years is this Pancake Madness episode where Sabrina, it turns out she's addicted, or maybe all witches are addicted to pancakes. So I have pancakes one morning against the better advice of my aunts, and I eat a pancake and I go berserk, and and I'm dreaming about a Mrs. Butterworth type singing to me about pancake syrup and whatnot. And I go digging through trash cans. I love that episode personally because I got to do some physical comedy in it, and it's the first time it really felt good to do physical comedy that I can remember. That sort of sparked me going, I want to do more of that. But also, it's a great episode with an underlying tone of addiction. So when my kids won't watch my shows or anything I do, if I need to explain addiction to them, I'll show them that episode because it really helps. My youngest son is he's a sugar addict. He just wants sugar. And so just showing it to him and being like, see, when you have it, you want more, and then you crave it, and then you do crazy things because of it. And just trying to lay that base of a lesson from the show was, for kids it'll kind of go over their heads, but adults might be like, oh, that's a good lesson.
My sister and I remember before we started watching the show, we went to Blockbuster and got the Sabrina the Teenage Witch movie with Ryan Reynolds. Do you have any fond memories from that?
Yeah. Oh, we had so much fun. In Vancouver, we filmed the first Sabrina movie. Michelle Boudouin, who played Jenny in the first season also of Sabrina the series, and Ryan Reynolds played a part in that. He wasn't Harvey. I forget his character name. But he kind of played the bad boy that Sabrina's after. But we had a lot of fun shooting that movie in Vancouver, and Ryan was from there, and they all were, everyone but me. And so they would take me down to Seattle for the weekend to bumbershoot to the festival there, and Ryan and I had a lot of fun hanging out. He was a really nice guy, and there was a little bit of a crushing thing happening then, but we had a lot of fun on that set. I remember things like it was so cold, we're in Vancouver, and there's a scene where my bed is floating in a river or a stream, and just being out there in a nightgown on a bed with in the middle of the woods with this bubbling water going by, and they put dry ice in it, so it was really smoky and cool, but it was freezing out. There was most of those scenes, it was really cold. I think we were shooting in January in Vancouver, which there's never really a lot of snow in that part of Vancouver during January, but it was cold, and everything was like outdoor in a little strapless dress and like a little short dress, or I was in a swimsuit for there were a few scenes by a pool, and there was a few running scenes. So I remember me and the girl who played my nemesis in it, she and I would work with a trainer every day on how to be good runners and, you know, running formation, you know, how to like have good form when you're running. And we would be at the gym every morning because we had to be in bikinis, and, you know, here we are at like 19 freaking out about our little cute bodies that we were like, we gotta work harder, you know, a little insane.
My last question is, obviously with the nostalgia factor,
I would consider it. I never say never, but I don't think it's a good idea. I just think that it ended so well, I don't want to have to redo an ending. You know, I feel like I don't think you'll ever, with all the fan fiction and people for 30 years thinking about the way they would want it, I don't think it'll ever make anyone happy, really. So, you know, I look at things even like the last episode of Game of Thrones, how much people pick on that, you know, or the last episode of How I Met Your Mother, or the last episode of Roseanne, or, you know, you never, if you try to tie it up too nicely, it doesn't work. But Sabrina worked. Melissa and Joey, the ending of that worked, to like wrap it up with a nice little bow and be like, we're done. Clarissa's the one that I felt like had an open ending and could be kind of revived, but it just didn't work out. Hey, thanks for taking a trip down memory lane with me, TV Guide Magazine.
Feel that.